Good evening, good evening. Welcome, Brian. Nice to see you.
Baruch
How
to you.
Baruch to me. I keep forgetting Baruch. Well, you wrote Brian down there. Okay, Baruch Benjamin Schulman and Miriam. Do you have a middle name, Miriam?
Rebecca.
Rivka. Miriam and Rivka. Very nice. I have a middle name too, but it's only in Yiddish. Pesha Golda. Golda Pesha. And it's Gilda Peggy. Gilda's actually my first name.
All right.
I'm a Goldie,
Gilda
Zahava.
Radner. Is it after Gilda Radner?
No, she came after me. Anyway, tonight, Brian, what's the Torah portion?
Korach or something?
Good girl, good boy, Korach. Okay.
In the scanners, its spelling is different than what you put on the screen there.
Yeah, yeah. Some people call it Korah because they don't want people to say Korach. Sometimes people see a CH and they go ch, but so it's Korah, but it's really Korach.
And I told somebody Caleb was a Gentile,
Yeah,
and some guy with tzitzis,
he
he
didn't
said he
believe
was
you.
Jewish.
Yeah, I
And I
know.
also,
They think
and
he
I said to
converted
him,
to
"You're
Judaism,
Jewish
or
by
they
your
think
father." And he says, "My mother too."
They said your mother too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, two is okay. That's good. All right, let me share the screen. Brian, I'm going to put you on mute and I'm going to share the screen and we will begin with Korach. Okay, here we go. Hang on a second. Let me move this down. What is this here? Okay, have to have my notes ready. There we go. Put you up here. Now, so we're reading, the verses are from Bamidbar Numbers, chapter 16, verse 1, all the way to 18, verse 32. Now, Korach, you can see it? Good. The son of Izhar, son of Kahat, son of Levi, and Datan and Abiram, the son of Eliav, and On, the sons of Pelech, sons of Reuben, took men. So before I continue, I just want to introduce you a little bit to who Korach is. And we're going to see why he and the other guys, so we have Korach is one man, then there's two men, Datan and Abiram, and then fourth is On. So they were sons of Reuben, and Korach is a descendant of Kahat. So we have the Levites had three sons. Levi had three sons. Remember, Levi was one of the sons of Jacob and Leah. He was the third, but he became the Levites. He had three sons: Gershon, the middle one is Kahat, and Merari. So here we see it says Korach is a son of Kahat. Okay? Then Kahat had four sons: Amram, who was the father of Moses, Miriam, and Aaron. Then there's Izhar, Hebron, and Uziel, who was the youngest. So Korach was a son of, here, Izhar. He's the second of the four sons of Kahat. I can send you this information if you want it after, but I wrote it down because it's important to know who he was and why he thought that he had a right to be upset that he was overlooked for either being the leader like Moses or the priest like Aaron. So Izhar is the second born son of Kahat. Then Uziel was the youngest son, and Uziel was chosen to be the Elisaphan was chosen before Korach. So it says here, it says in chapter 3, the clans of the sons of Kahat were camped on the south side of the Mishkan, And the leader of the families of the Kohat was Elitzaphan, the middle son of the youngest son, Uziel. So he was really upset. It's a little bit like we see with the favorite son of Jacob, who was Joseph. He was the youngest of all the sons before Benjamin was born. It's not always the first one who is chosen. So they rose up before Moses with some of the people of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, regularly summoned to the congregation, men of renown. It says in Hebrew here, and Anshe Shem. They had a name. Their name was important. Like when you say Bronfman or you say Trump, you say a name, you know immediately the importance of these men, where they are. They gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron and said to them, "You take too much upon yourselves, upon you, seeing that all the congregation is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. So why then do you lift yourself up above the congregation of the Lord?" I was thinking about what the Kohathites had to do and why wasn't Korach satisfied with his role? Not only did he think he should have been chosen because his birthplace was higher, the rabbis also say it's because he was a very wealthy man. In Israel, there's an expression called as rich as Korach. They believe that he left Egypt a very rich man. But the Kohathites,
Where do they base that? What do they base that on?
I have no idea, but I've heard it said. I don't know whether it's true or not.
Okay.
He certainly had a high enough self-esteem. He felt himself very important. So the duties of the Kohathites, they were responsible for carrying and guarding the most sacred objects in the Mishkan, like the ark, the table, the menorah, the altar, wherever the camp traveled. Unlike the other Levites, the other Levite families, their entire task focused on the innermost, holiest furnishings of the sanctuary. And it says, like Gershon handled the curtains and the coverings, Merari handled the structural parts, but Kohat carried the things that most directly symbolized God's presence and covenant. That was really, really important. But he believed that he deserved to be either the leader like Moses or the Kohen Agadol. He was looking for position. He really didn't care about being a servant. When Moses heard this, he fell on his face and he spoke to Korach, to all the company. See, it says Korah here too, but the Hebrew is with a chet, a chet. He spoke to Korach and to all his company, saying, "Tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. Him whom he has chosen will he cause to come near to him." I was thinking, it's interesting when I look at here what Korach said to Moses. "You take too much upon yourself. The whole congregation is holy. Why do you lift yourself up above the congregation of the Lord?" When I'm attacked, it's like almost immediately I look for excuses. I feel bad about myself. And I think maybe there's a reason. But look at Moses says. Moses spoke to Korach and to all his company, saying, "Tomorrow the Lord will show who are his, and who is holy. And God will cause him to come near to him. Him whom he has chosen will he cause to come near to him." And then he tells them what to do. "Take your centers, Korach. and all your company, put fire on it and incense before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that whomever the Lord chooses, he shall be holy. You take too much upon you, you sons of Levi. So I thought Moses didn't make excuses for being chosen. He simply said that God would show them who he had chosen. That's important when we're being attacked for doing what we know God wants us to do. And I struggle with that every day and hope I can learn from this message. Our rabbi always used to tell us that we don't need to defend ourselves or make ourselves less. Let me just finish this. Make ourselves less than who he made us to be. Miriam?
Yeah. You would think that they would have seen, all that had happened before now to see why, everybody had their place in terms of it was not like
You would think. Yeah, you would think. This happens over and over again.
It's like, when people want to be, I've seen it in churches or whatever, they want to be a pastor and really, that's just ego. What makes like what they would just feel, and then they would flop, and you could just see that it wasn't right. It's with everything in life.
Yeah,
When people try and do what for very selfish reasons sometimes, or ego reasons, it's
exactly.
not for them to do.
Exactly. And, I don't know. Like here it says, do this. Take your census, Korach, and all your company. Put fire in it, put incense in it tomorrow before the Lord. And it shall be that whoever the Lord chooses, he shall be holy. Okay, I just read that. And I don't know how he knew what to tell Korach. But I guess that if God spoke to him face to face, then he would have maybe intuitively known, or maybe God told him what to do, or he just knew that whatever he said God would do. I'm not sure how many of us, how did he know that this would work? And how many of us trust God enough to hear his voice?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because of the times they were living in, that just the formation of the nation, or yeah, he just knew that what would happen,
Yeah, it's amazing.
you know.
And Moses said to Korach, listen, here, I beg you, you sons of Levi. Does it seem such a small thing to you that the God of Israel has separated you from the rest of the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to serve in the tabernacle of the Lord, to stand before the congregation to minister? We can learn from this, not to take for granted that we have a small part in God's plan, that God gave us something to do, even if it's so little, even if it seems so much less than anyone else's role, because each and every one of us has a gift to give. And when we finally fit in that slot, the fulfillment, the joy that comes from it is awesome. And it says here, and he has brought you near to him, and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you. And do you also seek the priesthood? I mean, isn't it awesome? Look, he has brought you near to him. Miriam, Baruch, God brought us near to him. For which cause both you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord? Why? And who's Aaron that you complain against him? Aaron's, look what Aaron did, the golden calf. And Moses sent to call Datan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab. So who was Eliab? Let me go back here and see. They were the descendants of Reuben, Eliab and On. It starts at the beginning. Eliab was the son of Palu, who was the second son of Reuben. And then the sons of Eliab were Datan and Abiram. And we don't really know where On came from. He's completely overlooked. There's no history about him. But he was joined with them. And Moses, let me see where my notes are. Sorry. Moses called them to come. And they said, "We will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us out of the land that flows with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you also make yourself a prince over us?" I mean, look what they said. They said that Moses brought the Israelites out of the land of milk and honey. You know, when we're blinded by our own lies, our imagination tells us the opposite of what's the truth. I see
It's
that happen.
funny. Moses just finished saying, "Is it such a small thing that you're called to minister, in the tabernacle?" And now
Yeah,
he's using the same words. Is it a small thing that you have brought us out of the, like, it's almost sarcasm.
it is totally. Exactly. Let me go to the next verse. Moreover, you have not brought us into a land that flows with milk and honey, or given us the inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you take out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. So, will we take out the eyes of these men? That's an idiomatic expression. You know, the Torah is filled with these kinds of idioms, which makes it very difficult to translate into other languages, which is why there's so many misunderstandings about the Torah. But the custom, it was part of the custom of the day. Putting out the eyes was not literally a literal threat like a physical violence, but it's a metaphor meaning to strip someone of judgment, perception, often in a legal or political context. It's like a rhetorical question. They're accusing Moses of acting like a ruler who both fails to deliver and then expects unquestioning obedience, as if the people had no eyes, they couldn't see. These expressions are a little bit like break a leg if you're in the theater, but he's accusing them of not having, that they can't see what sorry, accusing Moses of acting like a ruler who fails to deliver and then expects unquestioning obedience, as if the people couldn't see for themselves. They had no eyes, which is the furthest thing from the truth. And when they said, "We will not come up," they're emphasizing their belief that Moses was blinding and misleading the people. So Datan and Abiram are being sarcastic. You haven't delivered on anything you promised, and now you expect to keep fooling the people? Do you really think you can blind them? We refuse to cooperate. That's what he was saying. Moses was angry, and he said to the Lord, "Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I hurt any one of them." Sometimes we think that humility, he was strong here. When someone gets angry with me, sometimes I kind of just back off and I want to make peace. And I think I'm being humble by not responding in the way that Moses did. Look what Moses said. He was really upset. And he said to God, "Don't respect their offering. I haven't taken one thing from them, nor have I hurt any one of them." Sometimes we feel like we have to be so kind and diplomatic and so loving in our speech. Moses reminds himself that he never grabbed anything from the people. He never sought power like they did. We have to remind ourselves, and I have to tell myself this over and over again. I have to remind myself of my purpose, and my behavior when I'm being attacked needs to be a strong one. I don't have to attack, but I have to answer in strength like Moses is doing. And we see that today in President Trump. who is always, I remember watching him from the time he was young. He always had a vision for the United States that he loved. He was always a strong leader. He never changed his mind, and he's not a politician. Unlike Korach, who is a politician, who wanted the admiration of the crowds. I see President Trump as someone who wants to do what's right for the country, and immediately the opposition stands up to cause trouble. Moses said to Korach, you and all your company before you, and they be you and all your company before the Lord, you and they, the rest of you, and Aaron tomorrow. Get ready, all of you, and let every man take a censer, put incense in it, and bring it before the Lord. Every man a censer, 250 censers. You also, and Aaron, each of you his censer. And every man took his censer and put fire in it and laid incense on it and stood in the door of the tent of meeting with Moses and Aaron. And Korach gathered all the congregation against them. Imagine the whole community, everybody was against Moses and Aaron at the door of the tent of meeting. And look what happened. The kavod yud he vav he, the glory of God, appeared to the congregation. And the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation so that I may consume them in a moment. You know, it may seem harsh, but again, God was just forming this new nation. And he was showing them right from the beginning that rebellion is like witchcraft. God wants his people unified. Division is the worst thing for a nation. Abraham Lincoln said that. He understood it when he said a house divided against itself cannot stand. So the people fell on their faces and said, oh God, the God of this. And no, they're not the people. Moses and Aaron fell on their faces. And they went before God and they said, oh God, God of spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin and will you be angry with the whole congregation? And yet it said just before that the whole congregation was upset at them. Look how Moses and Aaron constantly cared about the people. I would have wanted to get rid of them all. You know, honestly, these men were so humble and such servants. You know, they really put the people first. Korach and the others put themselves first. Speak to the congregation, saying, get away from the dwelling of Korach, Datan, and Abiram. And Moses rose up and went to Datan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, depart, I beg you, from the tents of these wicked men. Touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. You were right, Miriam. Remember, we were having a conversation this afternoon. You said the men were wicked, they were evil.
Yeah, that's because to
You
me
were
it's
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it does the God is not a anyway, I know you didn't mean that, but God's not a frivolous God. He really
No.
sees our hearts and to destroy like this. I mean, look how Aaron should have, because it seems like Aaron committed a worse sin with the golden calf. But he spared Aaron, so we don't know. His heart was
Yeah. He
Aaron was
knew.
not wicked. He was maybe a little I don't know, swayed easily or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. He was very easily swayed. He wanted to be loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wasn't evil.
No, no, God knew his heart. And let me tell you, he was humbled. So they got away from the dwelling of Korach, Datan, and Abiram on every side. And Datan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moses says, hereby you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all, the Lord has sent me to do all these works. For I have not done them of my own mind. This is important to remember. Moses told the people that they would know that God sent him to do all these works. I have not done them on my own. A little later, we're going to see Moses being accused of the exact opposite. They accuse him of that he did thinking that he did all this on his own. We judge others according to our own filters. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they are visited by the fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord creates a new thing, and the earth opens her mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. I was wondering what it meant that they went down alive into Sheol, that the earth closed up on them. It says, when I was researching it, it says in the Tanakh, Sheol is the underworld or the common grave of humanity, a shadowy place of stillness and darkness where all the dead go, righteous and wicked alike. It's down under the earth, associated with gloom, the pit, nothingness, not specifically with fiery torment or reward, as some people think, or like Gehenna, a place where they have time to change their souls and come back. I don't know exactly what Gehenna is anyway. But many passages use Sheol, like in Psalms and Job, as the grave, the place where praise of God ceases, where people are cut off from active life rather than as a moral prison. I don't I don't know what Sheol is. I have no idea, but I guess we'll know one day. And it came to pass, as he finished speaking all these words, that the ground split beneath them. The earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men who belonged to Korach, and all their goods. They and all that belonged to them went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed upon them. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine that. And they perished from among the congregation.
It's
Some,
terrifying.
it is.
I
Sometimes we
wonder if
see,
some of the disasters you see in the world are we don't know, but it's similar to that.
I absolutely believe that.
Because sometimes you remember I guess it was the California fire. Some people were spared who were right next to like huge swaths of areas that were burnt.
Yeah. But
And
this
they,
is a sinkhole. This is like
no,
the
I
earth
know, but
opens
I'm
up.
talking
I've
about
seen that.
disasters. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see that a little later. He's going to talk exactly about that, Miriam. You'll see. And
Mhm.
all Israel who were around them fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up too. And there came out a fire from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who offered incense, just like you were talking about, Miriam. How many fires? The Torah describes time and again situations in which so many people die. Here it was 250 men. And we're going to see even more soon. And generally from rebellion against God. And yet, somehow, in these modern times, we think it's a sacrilege to remind people that they could die for the same reasons. If we say that to people who don't believe in the Torah or follow the Torah, how could you say such a thing? Especially if we talk about the Holocaust. How many people were burnt in fire in the Holocaust? And I'm not saying that they deserved it, but some do, and there are always innocent who die with the guilty, because we are one people. These are hard words, and they're not my words. They're God's words. Now we're in chapter 17. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up censers out of the burning and scatter you the fire beyond yonder, for they are consecrated. It's like these souls, the censers themselves became holy. As for the censers of these sinners, they sinned against their own souls. Let them make them into hammered plates for a covering of the altar. They put it on top of the altar to remember. We always have to remember these stories because there's principles that we can draw from them so we know how to live our lives today. These stories weren't just written for the sake of them. They're stories for us to search out the principles for us to apply. For they offered them before the Lord. Therefore they are consecrated, and they shall be a sign to the people of Israel. And the sign of what? A sign to remember that when you rebel against the Lord, there are heavy consequences. And Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers with which those who were burned had offered, and they were made into hammered plates for a covering of the altar to be a memorial to the people of Israel, that no stranger, and the word is not ger, it's zar, the people who don't want anything to do with God, who is not of the seed of Aaron, come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he not be like Korach, as his company, as the Lord said to him by the hand of Moses. But on the next day, listen to this. Remember before what it says, what I said in 1628? On the next day, the very next day, the whole congregation of the people of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the people of the Lord." It's amazing to me how our memories are so subjective and our thought patterns can be so wrong.
They probably never really, if they're saying that, they maybe never really understood what the whole thing means. Like how many people see things now and they don't see what the real significance is.
I guess so. God has to open blind eyes. And again it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tent of meeting, and behold, a cloud covered it, and the kavod, the glory of the Lord, appeared. And Moses and Aaron came before the tent of meeting. And the Lord spoke to Moses, "Get away from among this congregation. I'm going to consume them in a moment." And they fell again on their faces. And Moses said to Aaron, "Quick, get a censer, put fire in it from the altar, put on incense, and go quickly, go to the congregation and make a covering for them. For anger has come out from the Lord, the plague has begun." How many plagues have we suffered in this world?
10.
I don't know. More than 10. I'm talking throughout the history. Not long ago, we had a plague called, you know what? We don't know all these plagues. The bubonic plague. We've had many plagues in the
COVID
history.
might have been
Yes,
small.
the last plague. And Aaron took, as Moses commanded, and ran into the midst of the congregation, and behold, the plague had begun among the people. And he put on incense and made an atonement, a covering for the people. He stood between the living and the dead, and the plague was stopped. Again, they were warned that God was going to consume the people. Yet I'm constantly challenged today with, how can something like the Holocaust happen? How can all these terrible things happen? Moses jumped into action. Who is standing in the gap for us today?
I'm not fully understanding when it says he was a covering between
That was the word in Hebrew.
yeah, kapora, I understand,
Yeah.
but what's the meaning? Like what's Aaron, like he's I mean, he's not appeasing God the way some of the
We have short-term memory.
No, Aaron was told what to do. Remember, we went through in Leviticus all the offerings that they were to bring. God made those offerings as a way for us to make restitution, to do teshuvah, to make atonement. And Aaron was placed in a position, he wasn't a magician. He was just doing what was required by righteousness. God is righteous and he's light. And he, for whatever reasons, they're hukim. We don't know why. We don't know how. We don't understand.
No,
But
I
they,
guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure I know what the covering means. Like I guess it's a sort of intercession, like
yes, that's exactly what
Lord,
it
he'll
is.
listen to our prayers, but it's not like um uh
He gave us the way out, and Aaron was given the authority to stand in the gap for the people before God. This is basically what it is. That all he's doing is being obedient. It's not hocus pocus. God gave us a way to do that. And in this case, the way was to put incense in the burner. That's what just happened.
I guess it's not the same as when certain religions, Christianity, whatever, say that you need an intercessor. See, they
No.
say so because the people themselves can turn to God. They don't need Aaron, but Aaron is just kind of being protective or whatever. But
Well, the people themselves lost the right to come directly to God by all the rebellion that they did during the golden calf and the scouts. They lost the right to go directly. God wanted to speak immediately
so what?
directly.
But how is he different from what you call an intermediary? He is an
He is an
intermediary.
intermediary, but he's
Okay, but
not,
people
yeah,
say
but he's not
Yeshua
doing it.
wasn't it.
He's not doing it to appease God. God is not a God who needs appeasement. He's
Okay.
doing it following the formula that God Himself gave to us. We don't have that formula today. Today we go directly to Him. We don't need, we can speak to Him, but we have to make restitution. We have to do still the things according to the Torah.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not the same principle as when they said you needed an intercessor like Yeshua to come before God. It's not the same. They were
Yeshua,
something.
Yeshua was not an intercessor.
Okay.
He's not. He wasn't. He was not an
He had
intercessor.
a role to bring us back to the Torah.
Yeah, he was teaching us how to live by the principles of the Torah.
Okay.
All that business about intercession, because he wasn't a high priest.
Well, they called him a priest, a king, and a prophet.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, I don't know. It's okay.
But he was given the way to stop this fire, to stop the plague. And
Okay.
and Moses told him, just go ahead and do it. And I sometimes wonder, what who do we have today to stand between the living and the dead like Aaron did to make the plague stop? You know how many people died that day? Look, those who died in the plague were 14,700, besides those who died with Korach, all his family, the family of Datan and Abiram, the 250 elders, the 250 men who brought censers. And Aaron returned to Moses to the door of the tent of meeting, and the plague stopped. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the people of Israel, take from every one of them a rod, according to the house of their father, from all their princes, according to the house of their fathers, 12 rods, and write every man, the leader, his name upon the rod. This is another sign that God is going to give us. So you shall write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi. For one rod shall be for the chief of the house of their fathers. And you shall lay them upon the tent of meeting, lay them up in the tent of meeting before the idut. where the ark is, where I will meet with you. And it will come to pass that the man's rod whom I shall choose shall blossom. Because they were questioning not only whether Moses was chosen as leader, also the Aaron was chosen as the high priest. So here God is going to show them. And I will make them, whom I will choose shall blossom, the man's rod. And I will make to cease from before me the fetching, the murmuring of the people of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. And Moses spoke to the people of Israel. Every one of their princes gave him a rod, one apiece from each prince, one according to their fathers' houses, 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among their rods. And Moses laid up the rods before the Lord in the tent of testimony. And it came to pass that on the next day, Moses went into the tent of testimony, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi had budded and brought forth buds and bloomed blossoms and yielded almonds
I
overnight.
love this.
Phenomenal.
Didn't this happen another time when the almonds were, can't remember. Thought it happened another time.
No, this was the time
Okay.
that I remember. And Moses brought out all the rods from before the Lord to all the people, and they looked, and every man took his rod. So this rod served a purpose to remember. It was a sign against the rebels to stop murmuring, to stop fetching, to stop complaining. How many people today are so busy complaining, murmuring, that there's no room for gratitude? Are you listening, Baruch? I'm speaking to me too, and to
And
Miriam.
to me.
When we complain, when we fetch, God is saying, no murmuring so that you don't die. Takes time for us to learn. And the Lord said to Moses, bring Aaron's rod again before the edut, to be kept for us.
Dute's ark.
Edut, it's the testimony, the ark, where the
Yeah.
ark is kept. Yeah, where
Right.
everything is kept.
Right.
To be kept as a sign against those who would rebel. Rebellion, God hates rebellion. He says it's like witchcraft, like paganism, because you're rebelling against the Creator. How could we possibly stand up against our Creator? That there be an end to their murmurings against me, so that they do not die. We wonder why we get sick. We wonder why disasters happen.
Doesn't like Confederates.
What?
The South, they don't like the blacks and the Jews or something like that. He doesn't like Confederates.
What does that
Like
have
the
to do with
Northerners.
it? What does that have to do with this?
The ones that like God are for everybody.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean, but maybe you can explain it. Okay, later. And Moses did so as the Lord commanded him, so he did. And the people of Israel spoke to Moses, saying, behold, we're going to die. We're all perishing. Whoever comes at all near the tabernacle of the Lord shall die. Shall we totally perish? We don't learn. And the Lord said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. When I read that, I looked at the word Aaron and his descendants would. The word is here, Omer el Aharon et Benechem. Here, tisu. It's like from the word nasa, to carry, to bear the guilt, which is avon, which is perversity, depravity, iniquity, guilt, punishment of iniquity. Aaron and his sons had to carry this. Remember, they had the shoulders, the vest. It's like, I think that's what Paul was referring to, put on the breastplate of righteousness, like referring to the ephod, the whole thing. They would be carrying this for the whole house of Israel. Talk about service. This was not a position of power or of honor. It was heavy responsibility, heavy service. The only one who could possibly carry that would be one who would be humbled, who was humble enough not to seek to serve themselves. The result would be disastrous. And that's what we saw in our Haftorah portion in Eli, 1 Samuel, where Eli and his sons lost the priesthood to Samuel because of their characters. They were totally disobedient. And like Moses, Samuel never sought the position. He wasn't looking to be a high priest or a prophet. His mother brought him to the temple in response to God hearing her cries and her vow. Anyway, so here, and your brothers, also of the tribe of Levi, of your father, the tribe of your father, bring with you that they may be joined to you and minister to you. But you and your sons with you shall minister, shall work avodah before the tent of meeting. And they shall keep your charge, your commandments, your mishpat, and the charge of the tent. Only shall they not come near the utensils of the sanctuary and the altar, so that they won't die, because that would belong to one of the other Levites. And they shall be joined to you and keep the charge of the tent for the service of the tent. A stranger shall not come near you. No one who wasn't called to do exactly what they were due should approach. Only the ones who are called. If every single person understood their what should I say, their calling and did it, it would be a different world. They would be so fulfilled and happy. But this will happen one day. That there should be no anger anymore upon the people of Israel. And I, behold, I have taken your brothers, the Levites from among the people of Israel. To you they are given as a gift to the Lord to do the service of the tent of meeting. So it's a gift to do service. When we help somebody, like Brian, Baruch, I don't know if you realize every time you visit someone there at the hospital, I know I'm waking you up. Baruch. Okay. Anyway. Therefore, you and your sons with you shall keep your priest's office for everything that concerns the altar and inside the veil, and you shall serve. I have given your priest's office to you as a service of gift. And the stranger who comes near shall be put to death. In other words, don't take somebody else's position. Korach and all those people were put to death. And the Lord spoke to Aaron, behold, I have given you the charge of my offerings of all the consecrated things of people of Israel. To you have I given them because of the anointing, and to your sons by an ordinance forever. This is achukat olam. This shall be yours for the most holy things, reserved from the fire, every offering of theirs, every meal offering of theirs, every sin offering of theirs. These are all the different offerings that God gave us, which they shall render to me, shall be most holy for you and for your sons. In the most holy place shall you eat it. Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy to you. And this is yours, the offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the people of Israel. I have given them to you and to your sons and your daughters to be a statute forever. Everyone who is clean in your house shall eat of it. All the best of the oil, all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer to you, that I have given you. Whatever is first ripe in the land, which they bring to the Lord, shall be yours. Everyone who is clean in your house shall eat of it. Everything devoted in Israel shall be yours. Everything that opens the womb in all flesh, which they bring to the Lord, whether it is a man or beast, shall be yours. Nevertheless, the firstborn male shall you surely redeem, and the firstborn of the unclean beasts you shall redeem. And those who are to be redeemed from a month old shall you redeem. I didn't go into all these offerings to figure out what they all are, because really we don't do them anymore. But the idea was that God was setting his people apart at that time. And he was making us recognizable because we were part of the nations. Now we're separate from the nations for a purpose. But these things do not have to be repeated because we take the principles of them. But the Lord spoke to Aaron, you shall have no inheritance in their land, neither shall you have any part among them. I am your part and your inheritance among the people. So we, the people, were to take care of the Levites. And the Levites, Aaron was always to go to God first. God was his inheritance, which is
An
amazing.
honor.
Exactly. And behold, I have given the sons of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance for their service, which they serve, the service of the tent of meeting. The service is all about avodah, the work that we do. Every time, Miriam, you go and you visit Mildred, you are doing service in the tent of meeting. Every time we help each other, every time we reach out to someone, every time we do a kindness that most people never even see, a little thing, we are doing a service to God, and lives change. We never know. You may smile at someone on the bus or on the subway, and all of a sudden the person who may have been thinking of a terrible thing will be changed. Brian, can you I'll mute you here. Okay. Neither must the people of Israel henceforth come near the tent of meeting, lest they bear sin and die. The Levites, but the Levites shall do the service of the tent of meeting, and they shall bear their iniquity. This is a statute forever, for that time. Forever had what wasn't necessarily eternity, but for that period of time, until there's no more Mishkan and no more temple. But the tithes of the people of Israel, which they offer as an offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore I have said to them, among the people of Israel, they shall have no inheritance. The Lord spoke to Moses, thus speak to the Levites and say to them, when you take from the people of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then you shall offer up an offering of it for the Lord. Even they had to give a tenth. And this your offering shall be reckoned to you, as though it were the grain of the threshing floor, as the fullness of the winepress. Thus you shall also offer an offering to the Lord of all your tithes, which you receive from the people of Israel, and shall give it from it, the Lord's gift, to Aaron the priest. Out of all that is given to you, you shall set aside all that is due as a gift to God, of all the best, even it's the parts that are set apart for you. Therefore you shall say to them, when you have set aside the best of it, then it shall be counted to the Levites as the produce of the threshing floor, as the produce of the winepress. And you shall eat it in every place, you and your household, for it is your reward for your service in the tent of meeting. And you shall bear no sin because of it, when you have set aside the best. Neither shall you pollute the holy things of the people of Israel, lest you die. And that is the story morning glory. And one of the things that Eli's two sons did was to pollute the offerings. They would get drunk. The women who came in to serve in the temple, because let me tell you, it took a lot of work to keep the temple going. The women are not mentioned, but they took part. And the sons of Eli were not so good with these women who came in to serve. Anyway, so that's the end of this story. Well, Jerry, you came in just
Jerry's
in
in
time
town.
to say goodbye.
Your
You're
volume's
you're
on.
on you're on mute, Jerry. I can't hear you.
Yes, I just came in time to. Yes, I didn't know you always. Sometimes you didn't know when I was here.
No, but I knew that you weren't here this time.
Yes, this time because.
Well, we can see
Yes.
when you're here, Jerry, because
How
your
are you,
name.
Miriam? How are you, Miriam?
Not too bad. Good to see you. Where have you been?
Uh,
I thought you left us.
would I leave you?
I put the numbers in on here first.
You know, you should have Peggy sing a few notes from that song.
Which song?
If ever I should leave you, it wouldn't be in summer,
Springtime.
springtime, whatever. You could sing a little bit. It's good for the people.
I don't know all the words, and it's not
Yeah,
one of
whatever,
the.
whatever,
I
whatever
know
you know.
but it isn't. It wouldn't be one of the songs that I would do on this particular,
Okay,
because
so
it was a very powerful drush. I hope you get to hear it. I hope you
I,
take some time.
I'm going to ask you a question, if I may, even though I
Yes,
didn't. So the question is, uh, I'm not sure if you answered it. If you did, just can say short or not at all. So how come they named this parsha after Korach? The other parsha named after a man Jethro. He was the priest of Midian. He did big things. Korach was not known for doing great things. So
I know, but wasn't there a portion named after Balak?
Balak
And
maybe.
Balak tried to destroy Israel. So it's not a matter of judgment of whether it's good or bad. It's just a matter of one of the things that happened to the people of
Right.
Israel. And it's a warning. Everything is a warning to us. And I think from our conversation that we had yesterday, I think that this Torah portion dealt with it. So, Jerry, I highly recommend that you listen and pass it on to everybody.
Right. That's very good. I like your
Yes.
smile, Miriam. That's not to say it's better or worse than Peggy, but just because
It's the best.
I want to give some divide up equal attention.
Exactly. Well, wherever Miriam and I go, everybody says, "Are you two sisters? Are you twins?" So we're always mistaken for, and I say, "Yes, we're sisters. We're closer actually than sisters.
It's
This is
true,
in the Lord.
especially with certain things
Sisters,
happening.
yes, they used to say, sisters in the Lord."
Sisters.
Yeah,
Know that blues song with the sisters? I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, I'm towering over. I guess the way I'm situated, my laptop is on the table.
really
Like, why
glad
am I?
I got to
yeah,
see
you
you
don't
guys.
need to go so close. You can sit back. It's fine.
I'm
Yeah, well,
really glad
now
I got to see you guys, even though it's for not the entire time. Thank you.
Yeah. The one song that we can sing according to your background there is I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find
It's my
is
duck.
the love. Yes, Brian?
It's my
Your
duck.
dog. What's happening to your dog? He's shining.
Good. Checking the light,
He's picking up on the light. I like that. It's beautiful.
he's a Moses dog. He's
Did you paint that?
Yeah.
Very good, Baruch. Wow.
Wow.
Excellent.
How did you paint that, Baruch?
By the numbers.
Oh,
Paint by numbers.
that's fantastic, fantastic, fantastic.
My Zeta used to paint by numbers. He loved it. Anyway, my dear friends, I say good night. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day,
Thank
rest of the
you.
evening, and the rest
You
of the
too.
week.
A
It's a little,
little anecdote, not related to, I'm going to
yes,
pull a Brian. I
okay.
bought a little steamer today.
Mazel tov.
I hope it works.
You'll let me know.
Yeah, I'll try my couch first
Okay.
because it's
Yeah,
so
the
hard to
steamers are
clean
great. I
up.
used it on my curtains. Just don't
Right,
get it too close
curtains.
to anything that can melt.
Although you can use it even to steam a t-shirt.
Yeah, but don't put it on anything plastic.
Oh,
Like what
right,
like
right.
what
No,
happened
right,
to my
right,
blinds because
right.
it's really hot, and be careful, don't burn yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you. Love you guys.
Love you.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
evening.